Hello, everybody. This is Evan Lazar in the Patriots film room for CLNS Media and Patriots Press Pass. And although this wasn't Mac Jones's best performance in Week 8 against the Chargers, we're going to break down some of his tape here today against LA to show that yes, his on target percentage was down, his accuracy was down. Some of the reads that he made, and we'll get to these later on, were not as crisp as what we are used to seeing out of Mac, but he still played a very respectable brand of football against the Chargers. And the biggest thing, just comparing him to Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert, is that he didn't have the fatal mistake. He didn't make that fatal error in the pick six or the other turnover that Herbert had to Adrian Phillips on the first interception. No turnovers for Mac Jones. So again, not his best day, not his most crisp day as a downfield passer in terms of accuracy, but no fatal errors. He made the layups when they presented themselves schematically, and he also made some good downfield throws to give the Patriots more than enough in this game against LA. So that is a critical point to make, especially with a young quarterback, but with all quarterbacks. When you don't turn the football over and you take care of business and you go out there, and when the scheme gives you a throw to make down the field and you hit it consistently, then that's going to keep the offense on schedule. And more times than not, that's a winning product in the NFL. So let's pull up the plays and get into this first one. The downfield shot to Nelson Aguilar on the first drive for the Patriots in the game. So you have Nelson Aguilar here in the slot, and they have Derwin James as the deep post safety in the middle of the field against this man-to-man match type of concept. So because Nelson Aguilar stems vertically down the field on this deep crosser, he's going to get matched in man coverage, but the man coverage defender is going to be outside leverage, low hip trail technique because of the post safety in the middle of the field. We talk about this all the time with the Patriots defense. It's the same leverage concept here with the Chargers defense. And what Mac Jones does in the pocket is next level. He knows that Derwin James, 33, is not necessarily comfortable as a single high safety. Derwin plays a lot more of his snaps closer to the line of scrimmage in the box, similarly to a Kyle Duggar or Patrick Chung before him, that type of role. So when you get Derwin isolated at the top of the field here, like the Patriots do, it's usually a pretty good idea to attack it if you're going to attack them at all. So Nelson Aguilar here in the slot's going to have this deep over route. And what Mac Jones does in his drop, is really next level here by the Patriots rookie. As he drops, you're going to see him open his hips. Once he reads this rotation, he gets the single high look. He knows he's going to be matched vertically on the vertical routes, and you're going to see him open his hips towards the left. See how he does this right here? He opens his hips to the left, he opens his eyes to the left, and he starts staring down the left side to get that safety to bite. And once he does that, watch how Derwin opens his hips here to point them this direction, thinking that Mac is going to go that way with the football, and that opens up the area on this side of the field for Nelson Aguilar's crossing route. So Mac knows that he's going to the deep over from Aguilar the entire way, but he's got to manipulate the deep safety out of the passing lane and make this an easier throw for himself and an easier winnable route for Nelson Aguilar. That's the first step. The second thing that he does after he gets Derwin to commit his hips in this direction is look what happens in the pocket. The left tackle, Isaiah Wynn, gets beat right here on the edge, and Mac steps up in the pocket. He knows he has this clean opening here in the interior of the pocket, and he's going to step up to elude the rush, and then in one motion, he's going to throw the ball down the field to Aguilar. So that is a beautiful pocket quarterback play. You have the manipulation of the deep safety by opening his hips down the field to get the Derwin to open and commit to the wrong direction. Then you step up around the pressure, and then you drop a dime down the field. That's a throw that Mac Jones is just showing off on that one. Now we get into this third down scenario here for the Patriots. And what do you have out of Jacoby Myers here and Hunter Henry as the stand-up tight end there is double in cuts. So Hunter Henry is going to run his route. He's going to run an in cut here, and then Jacoby is going to fill in with the in cut there. And what Mac is just going to do is he's going to read this safety rotation. So if this safety drops down into that robber hole and he's closer to Myers' route, he's probably going to throw this route to Hunter Henry. But because the Chargers rotate this safety down, he's going to allow Hunter Henry to clear out and hold the coverage, and then he's going to throw the one-on-one to Jakobi Meyers. So just a really good read of the safeties and understanding of where the best option is based off the coverage rotation. So as we rotate, you see the first in breaking route is going to hold this safety. The safety in this robber spot here, he's in conflict. He can't help to both Hunter Henry and Jakobi Meyers. They're stressing his coverage by running two guys into his help. So he stays with Hunter Henry initially, and look at the passing lane that opens up for Jakobi Meyers. And you see in the pocket, Mac already reads out the rotation and sees this coming and is anticipating this opening here to Meyers, and watch him thread this ball in there. If he doesn't throw it as quickly as he does, and he doesn't anticipate this opening here, then I don't know if he completes this pass, or at least this safety here rotating down is going to have a much better chance at contesting the catch point. As it is, you see that he almost comes up with a nice play here by rotating down. So that anticipation and that quick trigger finger to read out this rotation and get the ball to the one-on-one really saves the Patriots there and gets them to move the chains on third down. On this next play here, and now we're getting into the final drive of the game for the Patriots, that 14 play, 7-minute drive. And when you look back at just the play sheet of this drive, it was actually the passing game that really helped the Patriots out the most in this situation, and not the running game. They didn't just run it down Los Angeles's throat. Mac was actually 4 for 4 for 43 yards on this drive and hit completions of 17 and 15 yards to get the Patriots into field goal range. So this first play here is play action, and the Patriots know the Chargers are thinking, oh, they're going to try to run it down our throats and milk the clock, so let's hit them with a hard play action pass. And you have the typical Jakobi Meyers crossing route here on the backside, and then you have the lead play kind of holding it up here, and trying to get those linebackers and influence those linebackers to come up to the second, to fit their gaps from the second level. So as we roll the play a little bit, you're going to see the fake. And I like this fake by Mac because he turns his back completely and kind of crouches down to hide the football. And that gets this second level to all step up into their run gaps here and false step up the field to play the run. And then we know we got Jakobi Meyers just coming behind it, and you have Nelson Aguilar clearing out the coverage there on that part of the field. The Patriots ran basically an identical play earlier in the game for 33 yards to Hunter Henry. So as we roll it a little bit more, as he comes off this fake, he sees these linebackers are creeping up. And the one thing that I just love about how quickly Mac gets rid of this football off of PA. I mean, first of all, he does it so quickly that it helps him avoid this big hit and potentially taking a sack when Isaiah Wynn gets beat at left tackle. But by getting this ball out as quickly as he doesn't allow these linebackers to fall back underneath this route by Meyers. If he holds this ball for an extra half a second, then maybe this linebacker is able to get back into the passing lane. Instead, he gets it out there to Meyers, who is wide open behind the second level of the defense. And we talked about earlier in the video, hitting the layups. Well, this is one of those layups. The scheme worked, right? The route combination, the play action fake gets the Patriots exactly what they want, and they need a quarterback that's going to make that throw. And there it is. So Mac Jones just knowing how to get rid of that football quickly off play action really helps the Patriots out there. Another anticipatory throw here on play action on the following big play on this final drive, a 15-yarder this time to N'Keal Harry that put the Patriots in field goal range. So you have the fullback again in the backfield. You're going to lead it up here. You're going to call the play action fake, and you're going to get N'Keal on this comeback route on the sideline. And watch how Mac just anticipates and throws this comebacker with anticipation. So you get the off coverage here on the outside. Jakobi is going to come out across the middle here again, but the Chargers are ready for it this time because they just saw this play, right? So these linebackers are going to stay back, but because he has this off coverage and the linebacker here is not falling underneath N'Keal's route, He knows that he can throw this comebacker to N'Keal Harry, and watch how he starts his throwing motion right here. He's already throwing the football, and N'Keal is just starting to come out of his break here. So that way, there, once N'Keal gets out of this break, the ball's right on him. So he doesn't have to really wait for it, and that doesn't allow the defender to creep back into this play. If you have the defender, if this ball is held on to by Mac just a little bit longer, the defender is going to have that chance to drive back on the football. But because the timing of it is so crisp, that allows the Patriots to get the football into field goal range. And that's how they won the football game there late. So those are the positives, right? And one of the negatives that I am seeing from Mac, and he actually pointed to this on the radio a few weeks ago as well. If you want to point to some of the things that I'm looking at mechanically of where Mac needs to improve, right? Because I mentioned off the top his least accurate performance of the season, whether you go with PFR's on target percentage, completion percentage over expected, adjusted completion percentage, all the metrics that we look at for ball placement and downfield accuracy. This was Mac's worst accuracy or downfield performance of the season. Now, Josh McDaniels gets a lot of flack, from myself included, for this red zone sequence. But in reality, the Patriots should have had a touchdown here to Kendrick Bourne on the very first play that he calls. So they go empty. And what they're going to do is they're going to stress this coverage here. So usually when you have this stack alignment or these receivers close together like this, these two defenders are going to call a banjo call. And when they call banjo, it's basically you get the first guy outside, I get the first guy inside. So if we have a route combination, for example, that goes like this, then you're going to have this defender match it here, and you're going to have this defender match it there. Now, if these guys kind of switch release here, that's the word I'm looking for, then you're going to have this defender switch it, right? They're going to switch it and they're going to match it like that. So what the Patriots do is they know that they're going to banjo it. So when they have Kendrick Bourne on this return route, it's going to stress the coverage because it looks like he's stemming towards this outside receiver or outside corner, excuse me, here, but he's actually going to hit it back inside and he's wide open for a touchdown, but Mac just throws it a little bit high. So let's roll it here at first. And I want to show you the route combination. So both of these defenders here, they actually below this assignment, they both go with N'Keal Harry initially, and this is wide open. If Mac just hits Kendrick Bourne in the numbers, this is a touchdown, easy touchdown. So the problem that I see from Mac when he has these errant throws, especially these overthrows, is his base. So you look at his feet, okay, and when Mac is on target, he's stepping into his throws. He's driving the football down the field and he's really getting that front foot forward to transition his weight from front to back instead of throwing from this narrow base that he does here. When he narrows, he's less accurate. And this is true for pretty much all quarterbacks. But with Mac, it's really pronounced. And it's something that I've noticed consistently on his tape. And like I said, he talked about it a few weeks ago where he said, I wasn't stepping into my throws on those shorter throws. And this is really where accuracy can really cost you, right? Especially down by the goal line where a tip ball or something like that can lead to an interception because it's such a condensed area that there's a lot of guys and a lot of space and not a lot of space, I should say. So you have this narrow base here from Jones and he just doesn't step all the way into this throw. And that's why you're going to have this ball sail on him a little bit. And you can see it there, right? Like this is just not, it's just not a very well balanced. It's not a very aggressive step forward to kind of transition his weight. And the ball ends up being high and it cost them 6 points. Let's watch it from the end zone angle again. And you're going to see it come up again. And there's actually a play later on. I'm going to show you that the same thing happens here on the following play. So you can just watch his feet and watch the width of his base. You just want to see him really, because there's really not that much pressure here. So you really just want to see him step into this throw, right? And he kind of just throws this from a narrow base here. And by not really stepping into it and really driving it in here to Kendrick Bourne, the ball is just high. And on this next one, something similar happens. First of all, I marked this one down as a misread by Mac, but you're going to see the base situation come up again. So Kendrick Bourne's going to run this crossing route here. It's kind of like a mesh concept. He's going to run this crosser here, and Hunter Henry is going to run the crosser into the middle of the field. And this safety here is going to come down, and he's going to cut off Kendrick Bourne's crosser, and Hunter Henry in this situation, because this safety is rallying back to the middle of the field. Hunter Henry's got the one-on-one, but Mac's actually going to throw this to the more covered receiver. And one of the things that you heard on the broadcast, and I think it is bears pretty true based off of some of the things that I saw on tape as well from Mac, especially in that second quarter, is that he's struggled with just the rush of the Chargers and the pass rush, and his process was sped up. And going into the game, we talked to Brian Hoyer a few days before this game against the Chargers, and he made a point that with Joey Bosa and some of the guys that they have in this front, and the fact that they are usually pretty aggressive in the way they rush the passer, you don't want to hold on to the football forever against the Chargers. And there's some merit to that, but I think this got into Mac's head a little bit, and it cost him some throws here. So again, you have Kendrick Bourne crossing, and this safety rotation is going to scream for Mac to throw the ball to the one-on-one to Hunter Henry, because you have this safety going back to the middle of the field, and you have this safety coming down, and he's going to cut off this crossing route. And here's the man-to-man matchup with Hunter Henry, and he's just going to be one-on-one coming across the field in that direction. So as we roll the play a little bit longer, you see that rotation, and you see this safety break down here to take Kendrick Bourne to help cut that route off. And the pocket is okay. I mean, look, the right side, there's a little bit of pressure here, maybe collapsing on him just a little bit, but there's plenty of time and space here in the pocket for Mac to hold this ball a little bit longer. And if you look here in the middle of the field, there's the one-on-one by Hunter Henry, and he has his man beat. Now, Bourne is open to a degree underneath here, but with this safety screaming down, I mean, sure, he could maybe make a guy miss, but here's the sticks and it's third down. So we're throwing a pass well short of third down, of the sticks on third down, and we're also not reading out the safety rotation properly. Remember on the play before where he hit Jacoby Myers on that double in cut? We talked about him reading the rotation and throwing the rotation, right opposite the rotation. This is throwing into the rotation. So the right thing to do based off the safeties, because they rotate away from this route by Hunter Henry, is to throw this ball to his tight end. Kendrick Bourne is the covered receiver based off the rotation. Hunter Henry is the open guy, and he just kind of panics, right? He just panics a little bit, and you almost see him in the pocket here. I actually looked at this from the end zone angle, and I do think he gives a quick glance towards Hunter Henry. Right there, you see him kind of reset in the pocket. And for some reason, he just didn't want to hold on to it any longer, because Hunter Henry is wide open here. You can see him in the middle of the field there, of course. You can see him in the middle of the field here. He's wide open, right? I mean, this is easy first down money. There's nobody even on that side of the field. Hunter Henry is not the greatest yak receiver, but who the heck knows? He might score if Mac hits him in stride here. And again, this safety coming down to take Bourne, this is not going to get you the first down unless Kendrick Bourne can really make a guy miss. Now, the other thing that I want to show you about this play is look at Mac's feet when he throws this football. You see the lack of step into it there. You see in the pocket how he's not stepping into this ball, and look at where the ball goes. It sails on him. So we have the mechanical things with his base, with his footwork that I think need to be improved. But this is one of the rare occasions that I can think of on his rookie tape where Mac Jones did not make the right read in terms of the coverage, right? So a couple of mistakes there on that play. The last one I want to show you here, and then we're going to wrap this thing up, is this deep ball to Nelson Agholor, because this is not necessarily to blame Mac for anything, or Agholor for that matter, but you just see maybe a disconnect right now between these two guys, and just trying to get on the same page on these go balls, because margin for error on these deep throws, as we know, is minuscule. So this is, again, not pointing any fingers at anybody. I don't know who's right and who's wrong necessarily, or if anybody's right or wrong, but it just isn't, the chemistry isn't there right now. So Aguilar is here at the bottom of the screen in this condensed split, and he's going to give a stretch release, and then he's going to release inside and then get back outside the numbers on the fade. And what you're going to see him do towards the end of this route is something that I don't think Mac was expecting him to do, which is to level off the route. Now, as a receiver, when you go down the field, you want to hold the line and you want to stack, right? So what hold the line means is you don't want to be wavering. You don't want to be fading to this into the boundary, and you don't want to be coming too far inside the numbers. You want to hold a straight line down the field in whatever direction you are heading in, because that gets the defender on your back, and that makes it more difficult for the defender to get back into the catch point when he is out of phase on your back. So that's the key for the receiver, is to hold that line, stack, and then be able to make the play at the catch point. But you see from Nelson Aguilar here, as we gets to around the 20-yard line, he's going to level off, and he's going to kind of head straight now. It looks like, based off of where the ball is thrown by Mac Jones, that he was expecting Nelson Aguilar to keep fading, and that's why this throw is a little bit overthrown. So let's play it in full speed so you can see it. It's a great stretch release and route from Nelson Aguilar. Probably the most dangerous game of the year for Nelson Aguilar, just in terms of threatening the defense deep. And he's got a step and he's got him stacked, but you see how he levels it out a little bit and he doesn't continue to fade towards the back pylon. It looks like Mac thinks that he's going to keep on going towards the back pylon. So these are the little margins of error that if the Patriots can figure this out, then they're going to start hitting on some of these go balls to Nelson Aguilar. So those are a few of the things that I saw on the tape from Mac Jones that weren't as crisp for the Patriots in Sunday's win. But again, the main point that I'm trying to make here, based off of the first couple of clips of the video, are that no fatal errors, made the layups, made some good downfield competitive throws to get the Patriots into scoring territory on several occasions, converted some key third downs, made the plays on the final drive, 4 for 4, going on that field goal drive on that 7-minute odyssey for the Patriots there to ice the game. And that in itself right there, just summing that up, is enough for the Patriots to win football games, especially if their defense plays the way that it did on Sunday. Some of the things that he's going to have to clean up moving forward, you look at those rotations. Typically, Mac is pretty good at reading the coverage. I'm not too concerned about that. That might have just been more a 1 week thing in terms of LA's ability to disguise and rotate post snap. Puts a lot of stress on the quarterback from a read standpoint, and maybe he just had a few miscues as a result of that. The base, though, that's really important, because I keep on seeing this on tape with him. When he narrows that base and he's not stepping into his throws down the field, his accuracy suffers as a result. So Mac step into those throws and he will have that accuracy return to what we're used to seeing and not what we saw in week 8 against the Chargers. You can follow the rest of our Patriots coverage by subscribing right here to Patriots Press Pass on YouTube, and read my work on CLNSmedia.com for a lot more breakdowns on the Patriots and rookie quarterback Mac Jones. I'm Evan Lazar for CLNS Media. Thanks for watching.